We welcome you to this presentation of the Simulation Football League on the Virtual Football Network. A little West Coast football as Week 7 rolls on with a pair of 1 and 3 teams looking for an important victory in this West Division matchup between the Sin City Samurai and the Los Angeles Lyans. Good evening, everyone. I'm Cameron Duty alongside my partner, Brett Solberg. Brett, it's good to be with you once again this evening. How are you doing, sir?
Man, doing well. Things are going to be, shaping up, especially in that West Division now that we've seen the results of the first 2 games. Arizona up, Vancouver down. Now it's to be determined who's going to be in that 3rd or 4th spot even in the division. We got a Los Angeles team that needs some home cooking, had some, big blowout losses to those 2 division teams that I mentioned before. And then Sin City also coming off a bye week, but got themselves their first win against a tough Washington Trident. It's going to be fun to see how this game's going to start off here, Cameron.
Yeah, I agree 100%, Brett. And of course, we thank each and every one of you for watching with us this evening, everyone in the chat. We've got Eddie Gage and Joshua Durr on stats this evening. Of course, Cameron Irvine at SFL HQ. For Los Angeles, they're looking for their first victory against Sin City and all their reincarnations of the past. That ball sails through the end zone for a touchback. And we will introduce you to this Los Angeles starting lineup led by quarterback number 6, Sully Richardson.
And we're looking at, a team, especially in Sin City, that definitely is struggling in the run game. They want to get that established, and I would be seeing a first down run right away from them.
So that Scar Patterson, quarterback for Sin City Samurai, getting us started, folks. And it's a carry to the halfback, number 41, Logan Lee, right off of the bat, who runs right side for a gain of 8 on first down.
Yeah, and if you're looking to establish that run game, LA might be the team to play it against. They allow to 125 yards of rushing per game so far through the first 4 games. LA's going to want to shore up both Johnson and Lee.
Scar Patterson again handing off, this time Hubba Kimbrell with his first touch of the evening. Let's look at the starting lineup. We mentioned quarterback Scar Patterson, halfbacks Hubba Kimbrell, Robert Johnson, and Logan Lee. The fullback Chevy Monte Carlo, the wide receivers Elliott Pope Jr., Kenny Hendricks, and Al Dillafree Sr., the 2 tight ends Talon Steele and Tala Bobby, the tackles LL Volt and Jackson Burrito, and the 2 guards Rose Steele and Adam Chance. As we see a toss play once again, and it is Logan Lee again getting the carry, gain of 2 on first down.
And again, going back to traditional, you can almost say Canton vibes, or even the early Sin City vibes of getting that run game going. All the running backs on the Sin City side have been struggling through the first 4 games.
I formation. And again, as I say, tackling this ground attack here and being tackled is Robert Johnson. Good defensive pursuit by Anthony Wyo. Let's take a look quickly at this Los Angeles defense. Defensive ends Owen Lane and Ace Blackwell. Defensive tackles Nick Brummer and Bear Winters. The linebackers Tazzy Blackwell, Brogan Spurraw, Earl Fields IV, and Greg Ward. The cornerbacks Devontae Moore, Mike Scott, Anthony Wyo, and the safeties Monte Wyatt, Eaton Moss, and Ryan Yosef. As we see motion with 3 receivers at the top of the screen for Scar Patterson, now rolling out and throwing for the first time today into double coverage. A dangerous throw, incomplete, but we've got a flag.
Yeah, it's going to be pass interference, and that's the risk that you have when you're double teaming one of the receivers, and that's going to go as an infraction against Ryan Yosef, who was basically the main guy who you could even see on the replay, basically going to the other side of the field, and maybe was just too focused on getting to the ball, didn't even see the man coming, and that's free yards for Sin City.
A fresh set of downs for Sin City. As you said, they get lucky there, moving the football just past midfield early on in this game. 8:12 to go in this opening frame. Patterson again under center. Rolling out, again looking downfield, he throws and it is caught somehow. Able to wrangle that one in was Talon Steele, number 85, the 6'7" tight end.
And we started to see it a little bit last season from Sin City, but this season it has been full-fledged. Tight end is the first target, and Talon Steele is having a great start to his campaign, already one of the top tight ends in All-Star voting.
This time on the ground, there is nowhere to run and nowhere to hide for Hubba Kimbrell. In fact, it is big number 95, Bear Winters, bearing down all 6'6", 350 pounds. A tackle made at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, and LA wants to, up their TFLs on the season. They are ranked 16th in TFLs with just 31 coming into this contest tonight.
On third down, again, hurdling over defenders and getting the first down. Very determined there. Hubba Kimbrell trying to get out into some open space, and he does get the first after the hard-fought run.
Yeah, and this is what they signed Hubba Kimbrell for from Atlanta, is to get him as more of that power back, because Lee and Johnson, they're almost too similar in terms of running back type. They could do both, but Kimbrell is just a pure bruiser, and that's what you need on short down situations. And there's another first down in the books. Al Dillapre gets himself his first catch of this contest, and that's another guy that you have to be careful of with Al Dillapre Sr. Those two guys, Steele and Dillapre, are basically leading the way this season in terms of receptions. Dillapre coming into this game, 26, and then Talon Steele has 27. But back on first down, it's going to be a strong eye pro formation from Sin City. Rollout option for Patterson as he's looking deep and looking for the end zone, but it's incomplete. Led to double coverage, and it was ultimately deflected. It looked to be Monte Wyatt who was on that deflection, and that's going to lead to second down. And now they're going to go I twins on 2nd and 10. Two receivers to Patterson's right. And they're going to go with a delayed handoff to Lee, who's going to start to get going, but only gets about a yard. And that's going to set up a 3rd and long, even though Sin City's in great field position. And now with 3 to the right and 1 to the left, this should be a passing formation. We've seen this. They're going to go play fake. Patterson looking to throw down the middle, finds Talon Steele, sheds off a tackle, trying to shed to the end zone, and he does! Talon Steele with the strength and fortitude to get the Samurai on the board. 6 points for the Samurai. Cameron Duty getting you back on here, and you're coming in at a great time.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for covering during that technical difficulty, my friend. And just like you said, a great drive capped off there with Talon Steele over the middle. And take a look at this tenacity here. Would not be denied, dragging defenders into the end zone with him. Ryan Yosef not able to stop him. And as you said, my friend, Sin City with the early lead in this one.
Yeah, and that was almost an interception, too. If you saw on the replay, Brogan Spira almost had his hands on the football. That is basically the definition of a 50-50 ball.
Now the extra point is up and good by Charles Franz. And as you said, 11-play drive extending over 70 yards, 79 yards to be exact. And Sin City able to strike first. Just took about half of the quarter with them as well. Very methodical, something we like to see them do often with the mix of ground and pass, and it worked to their advantage.
And honestly, if you want to have a drive, you want to have a drive that gets you 10-plus plays. Just eats the clock out, doesn't force the other team to get the ball right away afterwards.
Now with an opportunity to see Los Angeles here as they take the field for the very first time, led by quarterback Sully Richardson. Talk about a devoted teammate, 10 seasons right here in Los Angeles. The season 15 All-Star has a great roster behind him. Halfbacks Darius Iniguez and Ace Ketchum. The fullbacks Tom Thickey and Dan Curtis. The wide receivers Bubba Tree, Joseph Bodette, LZ Pryor, and Chris Lee. The two tight ends Adam Grabowski and Jack Flash. The tackles Orrin Wilds and Bob Watoska. The guards Damian Robichaud and Hunter Watoska. And at center, it's Alteus Wilds. First play from scrimmage. It's Richardson stepping up, throwing, and pressure. I seen a little extracurricular activity, it looked like, from Adam Grabowski, or in the area of Adam Grabowski there, and it's incomplete.
Snot-covered rag stays in the pocket from the referees, as that just seemed like a clear PI call, and that was just not called at all. Maybe Sin City, they threatened with one of their, katanas, saying, don't give us that call in the first.
Whatever it did, it worked. and it is incomplete. Second attempt, back to the drawing board for Richardson, throwing deep into double coverage. Again, very physical along the sidelines there. The pass falls incomplete, intended for Joseph Baudet.
And what I've been watching this season for LA is that they like to gun that baby deep. They trust in Richardson's arm. They trust in the receivers going deep. You look at just people like Pryor and Chris Lee, who are over 15 yards a catch through the first 4 games.
It really does feel like they gave him a little bit of a new lease, if you will, on just rocketing that football in there. We've seen that quite a bit this season, as you have mentioned. We'll see what they do again here. Yup, back to the air they go. Throwing, and he had his man wide open, bouncing off the hands of Joseph Baudet, his second attempt of this drive. It's a 3-and-out, and it will bring on the kicker, John Smith, to punt this one away.
It has been an absolute struggle through these first 4 games to get Baudet involved. We saw him get clutch catches in Queen City just last season, and it feels like the hands are gone through this first half of the season in an LA uniform. Baudet with another opportunity to grab a catch. He's still only at 2 receptions through 4 games.
For Sin City, a good return here out to the 28-yard line. Pope Jr. on the run back. And we said it took almost 5 minutes for Sin City to complete their first drive. It was 5:56 remaining in the first when Los Angeles took over. And now you can see 5:27 remaining in this first quarter, and Sin City is back on the field. You got to always, it's early in this game, but you got to start worrying about this Los Angeles defense starting to get wore out quickly.
Yeah, watch out for the strong ice spread, especially that they use Talon Steele in the slot. They're motioning him over to the right side.
Square Patterson now going to roll out, throws, and that is tipped. Good defense that time by LA, and number 54, Greg Ward, his 5th season here in Los Angeles.
And that's sometimes what you need a linebacker to do. You don't need to really have him cover an area. If you go in a zone situation, you want to cover a certain portion of the field. Dillapre is great in getting himself into sneaky spots where he can get those catches from Patterson, but he does well, Greg Ward, to get the deflection.
Toss play, again getting this ground attack involved as Logan Lee tries to pinball off a couple of defenders. Nowhere to go, unfortunately for him. That brings up 3rd and 9. Gain of 1 on the run.
Yeah, and maybe they're just trying to rely a little bit too much on those veteran linemen in L.O. Volt and Adam Chance to try to open up the gaps, but people like Burrito and Steele just aren't getting him open enough for Lyans Johnson to really get going.
Now it's still going in motion. We see a fake handoff rolling out and now throwing deep. A good connection. Patterson to Dillapre, and a beautiful spin move there to get some extra yardage after the catch.
Honestly, that was maybe showing off because Joseph was going to get to him regardless, but he decides to grab the catch, head to the sidelines, get a little bit of a spin move that maybe shifts him from his right side of the body to the left side and gains another extra yard. But that's a clear miscommunication in terms of coverage because Dillapre was left open in an island on his own.
Nice new set of downs to work with here for the Sin City Samurai. Both teams coming into this game 1-3, as we mentioned. So this is a big one in the division of the West. A stiff arm after making the reception. Talon Steele once again getting worked early and often, and this one and coming up with some good results.
Yeah, already 3 receptions for Talon Steele, 2 for Dillapre. These 2 guys, they get them early, they get them often so that, they can pile up the receptions, pile up those yards, and right now, they're piling up the momentum on the road.
If you're just joining us, folks, welcome in. SFL action on the Virtual Football Network. West Coast football this evening for some Friday night lights. You see the handoff that time. Goes once again to Lee, who gets 4 on first down, 2nd and 6 coming up. And you mentioned just how more magnified this matchup is, Brett, due to the early games and the events that transpired.
But yeah, with Houston beating Vancouver, that now pushes, the situation for first at a tie, even though Vancouver has the advantage on Arizona as Hubba Kimbrell gets a couple extra to make it 3rd and 1. This game even makes it more interesting because if Sin City wins this matchup, they catapult themselves to 3rd in the division since they have the head-to-head matchup over Washington. So
high stakes in this one. And as you can see at the moment for Sin City, 110 total yards. Los Angeles still looking for their first down. Of course, their first series was a 3-and-out, and it's been all Sin City since. And rolling over the competition there is Logan Lee in every sense of the word, and another first down inside the red zone.
And again, you just look at this clock going down. You mentioned that LA has only had the ball for about 35 seconds in this quarter. We've been mostly talking about this Sin City offense more than LA in general.
Back to the ground they go, and that's Robert Johnson. And you mentioned the similarities between both Robert Johnson and Logan Lee. Both of these halfbacks, Johnson 6'1", Logan Lee 6'2", and they're within 30 pounds of each other. Yeah, very similar in the run style as well.
Yeah, they're both that like hybrid back where they can get speed and power. So that's why they, again, like I said, they added in Hubba Kimbrell to add to the power.
On second down, they run it once more. Ward this time. Greg Ward again making another tackle early in this ball game. He's busy out there. And a 3rd and 5 situation. And this is a big one for Los Angeles, trying to get a stop here.
Yeah, this has to be the stop that LA needs to make, because once Sin City starts scoring, they score in bunches.
Passing, rolling out, throwing wide open, and walking into the end zone is Al Dillapre Sr., who we talked about it, a major component of this drive was some of the catches that he was able to make, and he caps it off with the touchdown.
Yeah, and the biggest issue when you're running a zone defense is that you're going to open up some holes somewhere. Usually it's either that middle area past 15 yards, or it's going to be the soft, flat areas past 7-8 yards. And Dillapre ate that up for the second time in that drive and got himself plenty of space to catch that and just scamper the extra 2 yards in the end zone. Sin City, 2 straight drives, 2 straight scores.
And for Franz, the extra point is good. And again, the first drive took 11 plays. This one taking 10 plays and a complete first quarter domination by Sin City. Now we'll get a chance to see Los Angeles back on the field. Let's look at the silver lining as we watch this kickoff here. It will be returned for Los Angeles, brought out to the 28-yard line. Points per game at home. They rank 3rd in the league with 34 points per game. So it is a possibility, as you said, if they can just get this offense firing here, Brett, that they can claw their way back into this.
Well, we also have to add the caveat that they've only played 1 home game so far, and they did beat Florida by 20. Give credit where credit's due. Florida has become a good team through this first half of the season, despite my feelings thinking that they were going to be too small roster-wise. But even beating Florida is still a great credit to them. They just need to sink into that now and try to get that mojo back.
Indeed. Now, speaking of some mojo, running hard as Los Angeles takes over. That's Dan Curtis, the fullback, with a stiff arm, a 4-yard gain. A good stat here that has been passed along to us. Total plays so far, Sin City 21 to Los Angeles' 4. Now 5.
Now this will be play number 6. And it looks to be like a strong eye. And it's going to be another run on this play.
Yep, right up the middle. This Anigua is trying to find some light, and no light at the end of that tunnel. Brings up, again, a quick 3rd down situation right here, and an ever important one for Los Angeles.
Yeah, and LA switched it up. The last drive, they did 3 play-action passes. This time they handed off twice, and they got some positive yardage. Now in a 3rd down situation.
Richardson to throw. The pass hits the back of the defender in the coverage area there. That was Joshua Durr for all 5 seasons right here in Sin City. And yeah, there you go. Those shoulder pads right there, just the perfect deflector. It's 4th and 5.
Do you ever think that maybe sometimes those defensive players want to try to put stickum on the shoulders just in case if they do turn around the other way, the football just sticks on them? And they're like, oh, easy interception.
How'd that get there? It's a good thought, indeed, as the kick is returned here by Elliott Pope Jr. once more. And so, yeah, unfortunately for Los Angeles, still struggling. 5 total yards, and Sin City, you mentioned this is what we have to look out for now. Early in this game, we're quickly talking about it as we're not through the first quarter yet. But, you know, Sin City with the capability to rack up points quickly when they pull out in front like this.
Yeah, and you don't have to look too far back. Yes, there is a different city to this team, but the Canton, Tennessee sometimes still bleeds into this team. And you remember those Canton teams. They used to score in bunches.
it was total domination sometimes. I mean, from the opening kickoff to the end, we've all had an opportunity to call those games and really marvel at that offensive production they were able to put out. Now, throwing on first down, tipped. Good job of the defense there, stepping up and making an important play. The ball falls incomplete, 2nd and 10.
Yeah, and again, Patterson looking for his main guys. Again, Dillapre gets a target. I believe that's his 5th of the game already. Some players in the SFL don't even get 5 targets in a stretch of 3 games, and he's already got 5 in this quarter alone.
On 2nd down, Patterson, that famous rollout back across his body and threads the needle. I don't even know how he was able to make that one stick, but how about Kenny Hendricks there? 1st down.
Yeah, I need to see the replay on this one because that looked like an interception from that first get-go, because that guy was blanketed by, I don't know, 350 pounds of a weighted blanket that had LA's logo all over it, and he still manages to have those arms out, and it just almost slides into it perfectly like a key in a treasure chest.
Well, Anthony Wayo, tried to contest that one right there, and he come just a fraction of picking that one off, but nevertheless, Hendricks snags it away. Now, there's a pickoff, and there's another opportunity for Anthony Wayo, who this time does come up with the interception. He liked the taste of it the first play around. He decides to go back for more this time.
Yeah, and sometimes that's the danger of being aggressive. You're up 14-0. You can smell blood in the water, and you try to go for it again, trying to hit. It looks like Talon Steele was looking for that catch, but it doesn't work out. Wayo gets the interception. LA starting to get momentum back.
An all-important turnover in favor of LA, down by 14 after quarter number 1. You're watching the SFL on the Virtual Football Network. Here with Brett Solberg, 80 Gage, and Joshua Duran, the Stats Truck, and Cameron Irvine back at SFL HQ. And most importantly, we thank you for being here and tuning in for this late night game. Now, Los Angeles with an opportunity to kind of, I wouldn't say, obviously not even the score yet, but try to get some forward progress here, try to get some points on the board, maybe turn this ship around. Great connection there to Elsie Pryor.
Yeah, and what LA needs to do in the second quarter is just, be dynamic, be a little bit different. You didn't get a lot of plays in this first quarter, so that kind of opens up opportunities to really change the dictation of the game to your side. So you can change up different looks, different formations, that make it LA football.
That run going for a gain of 1 is we're going to mention this Sin City defense here. Defensive ends Gary Burney and Mike All. Defensive tackle Big Snacks. The linebackers Mark Gronick, Jay Mart, Zach Benjamin, and Gary Clem. The cornerbacks Evan Lacey, Tarek Spearson, and Joshua Durr. And the free safeties Kanye Rockefeller and King Jamal. 2nd and 9. Rolling out, dropping back is Richardson, and able to just kind of float that in there. Drops it in there for a tight end Adam Grabowski. He's going to make this an interesting 3rd and 3 situation. All right, Brett, so let's put you under the coach's hat here. What would you dial up for this 3rd and 3?
It's probably going to be a run if I know LA, and Iguez has the speed.
And you are correct. It is a handoff to Ace Ketchum, and they catch him short of the first down. It's 4th and 2.
Yeah, that's probably not the decision I would make if Ketchum is behind that line. I would have been more confident if it was an Iguez, and now a drive that looked promising off the turnover kind of stalls.
Able to capitalize on that turnover. Now they will try to pin them deep. Fair catch called for at about the 18-yard line by Pope, which is where you'll see Sin City take over. And probably one of the most interesting stats of the game up to this point was the fact that it took into the second quarter before we had time to introduce the Sin City defense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's one of the big things. Sin City just took over offensively. Took about, 8 of the minutes that we saw in that first quarter. That was all Sin City offense.
Mm-hmm. 1st and 10 now. Going in motion is Kenny Hendricks. Patterson under center. One man in the backfield. Patterson rolls to his left, looks back, completes with ease as he's able to find Dillapre once again, racking up those yards after catch too.
Yeah, I feel like we're going to say those two names ad nauseum, but you can't blame Patterson, or yeah, you can't blame Scar Patterson if they're going to keep getting open as much as they have. Both Dillapre and Steele have a touchdown. I wouldn't be too surprised if they get to, you know, double-digit receptions at this rate.
Certainly looking that way early on in this one. Now we see Lee again with the carry. This time, though, he is bottled up. Yeah, good job on the defensive front there. Number 42 coming in, Tazzy Blackwell, the inside linebacker. She gets the stop.
And not too often do you see a 3-yard loss on a stretch run, especially from, you know, Sin City. LA guessed right of where Lee was going to go and just halted him at the front.
Patterson rolling out right. Tip, it's intercepted. Throws his second of the day. If you can believe it, up 14 points now, though, with 2 interceptions to his credit. And that's Brogan Speraw with his first interception of the evening.
Yeah, and again, we're talking about guys that were close to interceptions. Wyo got it on the next chance. And this time, Speraw, you remember that Talon Steele touchdown? He was inches away from grabbing that ball and claiming it himself. But this time, he manages to hold on to that football. And look at this. LA's in good field position. I would almost argue in field goal range to start off this drive.
Yeah, great play by Brogan Speraw, who I said his first interception of the season, the first of that young man's career. So congratulations to Brogan Speraw there for getting that interception. It's a game ball right there. Hang on to that one, right? If this thing turns out good, for sure, it's a handoff to Darius Iniguez. And like you said, this could be the fire starter that they need. Gain of 4 on first down.
Yeah, but this time, you know, the last drive, it kind of stalled out and they were forced to punt the football away. This time, you have to capitalize. There's not a lot of opportunities where you can squander these. You've got to get points off turnovers.
You look to be in John Smith's range. Now the most important thing is don't take a huge loss to get out of that field goal range, and hopefully they can keep moving forward here and trying to do so as Ace Ketchum lowers the shoulder pads and gets close to the first down sticks.
Yeah, good look from Ketchum to, you know, get outside the offensive line, have a little bit of space to just power through, make it a third and very manageable. This could be another run.
We see a motion from Grabowski going to the top of the screen here. And on the ground, they do keep it and pushing the pile. Able to get there was Darius Iniguez. And I tell you what, that was just sheer determination because it looked like he was bottled up about 2 yards back.
Yeah, got stuck on his own lineman too, thinking you might have been stuffed behind the line, getting forced into a field goal situation. Now you move the chains, and it's just a breath of fresh air for LA.
Now Chris Lee there, who moves to the left side of quarterback Sully Richardson to the top of your screen. About halfway through this second quarter, there's a throw coming back to it's Joseph Bodette, and he fights hard for the first. And yeah, we're starting to see a little bit of life out of these Lyans as we fortunately have Zach Benjamin down for Sin City.
Yeah, like you said, breathing life into this LA offense, and that was just a perfectly wide open Joseph Bodette. Didn't have to worry about a contested catch. He had all the space in the world just to haul it in and just move forward. And he has that ability just to push forward for another 3 or 4 yards after the fact, even with a guy draped all over him. So now LA in prime position to get a score.
I formation here for Los Angeles on a 1st and goal situation. They run it, and pushing his way in. Getting a little assistance there from behind Darius Iniguez for the touchdown. And you are right, BK, they get the points off the turnover, just what they needed.
And it almost looked like Iniguez was going to get stopped, but being helped by a defender of all people, Mark Gronick, coming in, seeing if he can stop him down, but he pushes him forward instead and gives Iniguez the touchdown. LA is on the board. This gives life, and it brings this ball game into a much closer situation.
Yep, all of a sudden, the tide has turned for Los Angeles with points on the board. The lead is now just 7 for Sin City. A 5-play drive, which took 1:39 off the turnover, ends in a touchdown. Folks, if you're new to the Simulation Football League, welcome. The SFL is football for everyone, and we invite you to get off the sideline and start your player today by joining our Discord server over at simfl.net. Be sure to click the Join the Community button and begin your career, or if you just want to meet the stars of the SFL on and off the field, you can do that too. In fact, it's never too late to get involved. Speaking of getting involved, the yellow flag, the penalty there on the field, and they're going to get clipping on Sin City, which is going to certainly help there, pinning them back.
Yeah, and that one maybe a little bit of an aggressive push just because he got beat by one of the special teams players. You got to be careful, and especially in situations like that, because now Sin City's got to start themselves about 85 yards to the end zone, and that makes it a little bit tougher to sling the ball down the field, especially with Scar Patterson throwing back-to-back picks.
Yeah, Scar Patterson came into this game with 7 interceptions on the season. He now has 9. And we're not quite to halftime here, so he's going to look to try to regroup after some shades of brilliance early in this game. They decided to go back to the run here with Logan Lee to try to settle him down a little bit.
And this problem is kind of lying in wait a little bit here. Sin City's run game has just not been effective through this first half, so it feels like Sin City has been forced to pass that football maybe more often than they wanted to in this first half.
Certainly looks that way. We've seen this rollout a lot in this game. Now Patterson throwing again, incomplete along the sidelines. Again, it looked like a car crash taking place over there with gray jerseys and white jerseys all over the field. It falls incomplete.
Yeah, and that was a close throw from Patterson, and it was in the right area. There was an open gap between the two defenders, just couldn't hit his receiver.
2 receivers lined up on either side here. On a 3rd and 8 situation, you hear the home team, the crowd, getting some life to them. One-handed grab, and that'll silence them. It's Elliott Pope Jr. with the beautiful grab, and this drive will continue.
Not a lot of touchers through the first 4 games for Elliott Pope Jr., but this is a guy that, made some noise in Nashville last season, comes over to Sin City, and really just to beef up that receiving core, and maybe that's why we're seeing Scar Patterson throw 106 times through 4 games.
This wide receiver core is loaded with talent. Plenty of options for Patterson to choose from now. Pressure coming. Tries the rollout. This time they read it like a book. And it's big, number 94, Ace Blackwell, 6'4", 291 pounds. And all 9 seasons right here in L.A. They love the guy on the line.
Yeah, it seems like Patterson maybe missed a bill or something like that from the offensive line, because that completely broke down the second the ball snapped. Center was not ready. That left guard wasn't ready either. And you had both Blackwell and Nick Brummer ready to just feast on Patterson.
The 25th sack of Blackwell's career, his first of the season. Got to feel good. A 7-yard loss on first down. You see Dillapre again going in motion. And now Patterson gonna take a shot again, shakes it off, throws deep, almost intercepted. You can see the urgency there, him trying to get rid of that football. He almost got it into the hands of Los Angeles' free safety, Monty Wyatt.
Yeah, and again, another throw to Dal Dillapre Sr., kind of almost like a bailout throw after breaking the sack, just trying to get that ball out of his hands. And again, almost it gets picked off again. Patterson's got to be careful.
3rd and 17. Again, you hear the home team crowd getting into it. Patterson throwing and almost getting out of it. Bailing him out of it was Dillapre, but he is stopped short with a nice efficient tackle there by Monty White. It's 4th and 3.
Yeah, and again, you look at those zone areas, and it was the right spot. It was just too far from the first down marker to call that play. So now, Sin City forced to punt this football away, and now gives LA an opportunity to tie this game before the half ends after a first quarter that really saw no LA action.
Well, I think it's safe to say we probably didn't have that on our bingo card, at least for here we are, 3:25 remaining in the second quarter, with LA with a chance to move back down the field and potentially tie this game up. As you said, not with the way that first quarter was certainly going, but here we are, and that's why we love SFL football. It's unpredictable from start to finish.
Yeah, first part of the game as well from Sin City. The other two, changes of possession have been turnovers. So LA's starting to figure out what Sin City is doing offensively, and now LA just needs to respond.
Sully Richardson with a good pocket to throw from, makes the nice, wise choice to throw it over the middle to his 6'2" wide receiver, Elsie Pryor, who gets the first down.
And it wasn't too long ago that Pryor was that #1 receiver for LA, as you know, he was that dynamic guy who could get 200 yards at any given moment of time. But right now, Chris Lee has kind of been that stud through the first 4 games. I mean, he's the dude leading the league in receiving yards at the moment.
Under 3 minutes to play in this first half. There's Pryor once more, going in motion. As he lines up at the bottom of the screen, delayed handoff, keeping it on the ground, as that is Iniguez, who gets a good run on first down, a gain of 7 here, and a little methodical is Los Angeles being here as we approach this 2-minute warning.
And honestly, I love that play, a draw play to Iniguez, who probably has one of the quickest feet in football, can get from 0 to 60 quicker than any running back in the league. That's a great way to get the draw play run.
And an opportunity here for a carry for Ace Ketchum, getting out into some wide open spaces. He gets the first and 10, and yeah, this two-headed halfback tandem now starting to show some muscle.
Now we're probably going to get one more snap of the football for the 2-minute warning. They're hustling to the line. They want to get themselves to midfield before that 2-minute hits.
And you're correct. They do get it off with Iniguez, who meets a defender head on there for quite the collision, as that was number 48, Kanye Rockefeller, who was in his way. That brings us to the 2-minute warning, with Los Angeles now making a case as they move their way down the field, trying to get some points on the board to draw closer to Sin City before halftime. You're watching the SFL Virtual Football Network. Richardson under center. He signals for motion in the backfield. And that's Dan Curtis, who's back there to help block for Ace Ketchum, who again, out of the gate strong, gets another 1st and 10.
Yeah, and LA now in a position where they can really just let this clock slide a little bit. Now that they're past midfield, you might see some timeouts once they get around the 1-minute mark, maybe the 50-second mark, but they feel themselves are in a good position to at least get some points off this board. And again, I go back to the fact that LA looked anemic in that first quarter, and they've completely turned around here in the second.
It wasn't that long ago, Brett, that the total yards for Sin City was 150, and LA had 5 to their name.
That's true.
Oh, how a quarter changes things. Clock continuing to run. They keep it on the ground, gain of 3, minute 20 and counting. They hurry back to the line.
And again, they're just making sure that they have, time on their side.
Ketchum again shedding tackles, actually lifted up off the ground as King Jamal got to him and throws him to the turf. A timeout now called for.
Yeah, and now you're in a 3rd down situation, not a comfortable 3rd down, and it hasn't been, smooth goings on 3rd down either for LA. So they're going to call this timeout, make sure they get this play right.
Ball on the 39-yard line. Richardson rolling out, throwing a one-handed grab to keep this alive. Well, that's why they call him Grabowski after all. A 1st down, and they take the timeout.
Yeah, 2nd timeout called from LA, and now they're maybe outside a field goal range for Smith. I'm not sure if this is, comfortable area for him. This would end up being around a 45, 46-yarder if they stay here, so they want to get deeper in.
Grabowski, the man who just made that important catch, goes in motion and lines up on the line left side of Sully Richardson. One man in the backfield. Richardson to throw quickly to Grabowski, who turns his way forward. We'll see where they spot him at. The forward progress will get him to about the 25-yard line. So that is inching closer, Brett, into John Smith's range comfortably.
Yeah. This would probably make it around 42, maybe 43 yards, which is a little bit more comfortable, but you want to get it off that left hash mark. You want to center that baby.
We'll see what Richardson and company can do here. 2 receivers to the bottom of the screen. We see Richardson throwing quickly. It's tipped. Ooh, and that was scary. The longer that lingers in the air, the chance of a turnover, but it does fall to the ground incomplete. And a 3rd and 4 with less than a minute remaining in this half.
Yeah, I think the entirety of LA just, held their breath and skipped a heartbeat when they saw that ball in the air, because you've already seen 2 turnovers from Scar Patterson. They don't want that luck to turn around.
3rd and 4. What can Los Angeles come up with? Rolling out, throwing. The pass is complete. The drive will continue down to the 15-yard line, and a no huddle here.
And yeah, they're comfortable here. 45 seconds left inside the 20.
Richardson throwing towards the left sideline, and he's able to find his man.
Now, these short routes are working here, Cameron. I think they need to keep it that way as they spike the ball, make it 3rd and 4.
Yep. So 3rd and 4 coming up here. 32 seconds remaining in the half. You're right. Looking towards the sideline on those short routes have really been able to help them advance this ball down the field. Now, like I asked you the last time, what do you do on a 3rd and 4 situation on this side of the field?
I'm looking at a crossing route down the middle. I'm looking at maybe, seeing if I can get LZ Pryor or Chris Lee that all-important touch.
Chris Lee in motion to the right side of Richardson. He throws end zone, back of the end zone, incomplete. He looked to be going for Grabowski there. It was well covered by Kanye Rockefeller. As we'll get a look again to see right here. Oh, yeah, tipped it. Almost actually picked it off.
And honestly, Kanye Rockefeller probably in the next Hall of Fame class if I had any decision about that. And that's why. It's not the interceptions. It's just sheer presence alone. Getting his hands on the football in front of Grabowski, forcing the field goal from 25 out.
The 25-yard attempt from John Smith. The kick is good. They draw within 4, so a 15-play drive that does end in a field goal, but they, most importantly here, Brett, they get points before halftime, making this a little too uncomfortable for Sin City when at one point they did have a 14-point lead.
Exactly, and now Sin City starting to tumble a little bit, and like you said, it was at one point that they had 150 yards of offense. Since then, they've only gotten 31.
Deep kick into the end zone, but it will be returned here by Pope. Gets across the 20 out to the 25-yard line, and now with 21 seconds to go, we'll see how aggressive they want to be. Now, it was Sin City who started this game with the first possession, so we'll see what they decide to do with these few seconds remaining in the first half.
Yeah, 21 seconds is tough to tell. If they do want to go for it, they got to go aggressive from the start.
And right from the start, we see Dillapre moving in motion. Fake handoff and a rollout play action pass back to the middle of the field. And coming in at the last minute to thwart the efforts was Mike Scott, who jars that ball loose. That's incomplete.
And that was another good look to Dillapre, and he had 1 foot down, just couldn't get his second down before that ball was jarred loose. Great work from Scott to jar it loose, and that could have been a situation where Sin City would have used their timeouts and started moving down the field.
Again, throwing, incomplete, tipped. Yeah, this is a big difference from the very lukewarm defense we've seen early in this game for Los Angeles. They've been able to tighten things up.
Yeah, not only has Scar Patterson started to struggle a little bit with that passing, but the hits just seem to be a little bit harder from these LA linebackers.
11 seconds to go, folks. Now rolling out to the right side. Patterson throwing. It's intercepted. And that's his 3rd of the evening. That dropped in there like a dime, but to the wrong guy. Monty White with the INT and 7 seconds to spare. Wow.
Yeah, Kenny Hendricks had that open space, but Patterson waited just a little bit too long, and you can see it on the replay. Wyatt does a good job just to be in the right position as that pattern was being crossed. You can see Hendricks changing direction, and Wyatt was in the right place. Now it's a huge decision for LA. It looks like they're going to go Hail Gary.
Can't say I blame them. You got to take a shot here. 7 seconds left. 3 receivers to the right side. 1 up top side for Sully Richardson. He heaves it towards the end zone. Oh, and it's going to leave just enough time if they want to try again. That's Bubba Tree, who looked to be the intended target in the area.
Yeah, maybe just wanted to, at least get a second play out, but I think he should have waited another second because he overthrew that baby by what, 8 or 9 yards?
Yeah, looked a little too much juice on that one for Sully Richardson there. And here we go again. Same formation. 3 receivers to the bottom, 1 to the top. Richardson going to step back in there. Going to heave it once more. He's got the time. Yep, he's got the arm. He throws an interception. Yeah, again, a little bit too much mustard on that one. It's Hawthorne underneath it to cradle that one. And it is Mike Hawthorne, the free safety with the INT, number 36.
Yeah, a little bit of a moot interception because LA's just going to get this ball back at the start of the half. But I admire Sully for at least throwing it out.
I do too. That brings us to halftime, folks, and what has turned out to be an exceptional second quarter. Los Angeles within 4 of Sin City. We welcome you into the SFL halftime report. Cameron Duty here with Brett Solberg. And Brett, of course, just give me your thoughts on this first half. We've seen Los Angeles claw their way back in it. What do you see needing to change as we transition to the third and fourth quarter?
Well, right now, both quarters have resulted in one team out, just dominating the other in terms of total plays. We went from 25-8 in the first quarter in favor of Sin City to 27-13 in favor of LA, who has found a way to dominate their own time possession in the second quarter. 6 of the 10 minutes went to LA in that second quarter. They dictated the pace and basically brought momentum back to their side. 3 picks now on Scar Patterson on what felt like Patterson was going to have a field day out there has really changed things to LA's side, and now they get an opportunity to start the half to potentially take the lead.
And how about this, folks? First half stats for Sin City. First quarter, 148 yards. The second quarter, 33. For LA, 5 yards in the first quarter, but 131 in the second. So it has been a tale of 2 quarters for both of these teams. Now we'll see who has the upper hand in the third. A nice return here, at least a hard-fought return, we'll say, for number 11, Bubba Tree. Quickly, let's check in with Cameron Irvine for an SFL game break, and we'll get you back for this injury report.
Thank you, Cam. Over in Queen City, the Corsairs dominating the Skyhawks tonight. This beautiful ball to Joe Beasley in the back of the end zone has helped Queen City to a 24-0 lead with 6:15 to go. Carolina has 84 total yards of offense. Back to you.
Thank you, Cam. Appreciate that as Los Angeles gets ready and sets up shop from the 25-yard line. To start this third quarter, they start it with Darius Iniguez, who runs right side trap behind a lineman there, and he gets back to the line of scrimmage.
And LA kind of has the pick of the litter on how they want to start things off on this drive, because that second quarter was a great balance of run and pass. 73 passing yards, 58 rushing yards. Both of those sides were working very well, and now they just need to establish that in the third again.
Richardson throws an interception. It's going to be a pick six. See you later. Nobody inside to bring Joshua Durr. That's Evan Lacey. My apologies. That was number 20 instead of number 30 there, Brett. They were moving so fast it was hard to check them out, but it is Evan Lacey with the touchdown.
Yeah, and you could see it looked to be Gary Clem that was just breathing down the neck of Sully Richardson, so Richardson had to sling that ball off. Didn't see another white jersey until after the fact, right into the breadbasket, and unbelievably wide open space off the right side of the field. Evan Lacey with another interception for a touchdown. That's another guy that is Hall of Fame material.
The extra point good, and just like that, without even having to step on the football field, the offense not having to do any of the work, it's the defense who puts them up by 11 now to start this third quarter. So, check mark for Sin City to start this half. We'll see what they can do here. Now a good return this time. Again, back out to the 30. That's 2 straight returns by Bubba Treat where he had an opportunity to even take this one farther than what he was able to get.
Yeah, and Bubba Tree has done this before. It's not like he's, foreign to this abstract thought of kick returns. He's got a kick return for a touchdown over his 4 seasons, and he gets a lot of chunk yardage on those returns as well. Nearly 30 yards per return, which it's ideal for your special teams unit.
Richardson now under center, 2 receivers at the top side, 1 to the bottom. We've got 2 men in the backfield. He does a draw handoff to Iniguez, who's able to shake and rattle and roll with that stiff arm there, and he gets close to the first, a gain of 6 on first down.
Yeah, and you got to think from the LA perspective, you're immediately going back to the offense, which just caused a pick six. How rattled is that offense? Are they going to recover from that immediately?
On second down, they keep it on the ground. This time it's Ace Ketchum who fights hard, gets close to the sticks. They're going to say forward progress will get the 1st and 10. And I have to say, I like this personally, Brett. You know, I like the mix of getting Ace and Iniguez there involved. It seems to really be able to settle Sully Richardson.
I think what's also helping is that Dan Curtis has done pretty well with the blocking as well to give opportunities for both Ketchum and Iniguez.
And back to the ground they go. Good chunk of yards once again by Iniguez, who does get 4. Brings up 2nd and 6. And, you know, the one thing they want to do, they want to slow this football game down. Sometimes with LA, it sometimes feels like the pace is what gets them in trouble.
Yeah, it's always pace, and you have to make sure you get those appropriate yardages. I would say 4 yards of play, almost ideal if you're trying to slow the game down.
You want to look at Ace Ketchum there, veering right, cutting back left, and he does get the 1st down. And you got to love the confidence that you're seeing out of these halfbacks, but also good blocking up front here.
Yeah, completely different from what we saw in the first quarter, where it felt like Ketchum was just going to get annihilated through the entire game. But now he's found the space. He's got great blocking from the line. He's getting good blocking from his receivers. Dan Curtis, again, leading the way for him to get extra work. Like that's what Dan Curtis does. He's an excellent blocker for LA.
Elsie Pryor goes in motion, provides a block out there for Darius Iniguez, who, again, like you said, they're wanting 2 to 4 yards a carry. And so far, they're able to do that at least. That brings up 2nd and 8.
Yeah, dictate the tempo of the game. Make sure that you hold on to the football. You're down 11. I would be more for me, the aggressive side. I want to get those points back immediately. But this is also a good game plan too. Don't give Sin City the light of day.
Oh, that time Sin City able to just snuff that one out, and a good tackle made by Mark Gronick. The first time we've been able to call his name in that category this evening, bringing up a tough 3rd and 7 here.
Big opportunity for LA to, again, going back to that second quarter form, they were 3 of 5 on 3rd down.
See the fake handoff, play action, throwing, one-handed grab, what a beauty. Joseph Bodette, how do you do? 1st and 10 for LA. What a play.
Yeah, and what I'm finding is that usually you're finding Chris Lee wide open, and Sin City has kind of marked him down completely. So guys like Grabowski and Bodette are getting more open, and Sully's doing the right thing in finding those guys, getting those yardages.
Almost 4 minutes have eclipsed here in this 3rd quarter. Oh, that's a nice decision right there. A nice pattern, putting Adam Grabowski out in the flat. Richardson finds him for a 1st and 10.
Yeah, those quick outs and those flats can be so unsuspecting for, even defending corners, especially against tight ends who are gonna have that strength advantage over you. And look at that, Cameron. Just at one point, this was just a glaring need. Now LA has outpaced them in terms of total yards.
Oh, that's something. Like we said, 145 yards the first quarter alone for Sin City. LA has come roaring back. And, of course, it's thanks to folks like Iniguez there who's been able to eat up a lot of yardage. And here's the thing, Brett, down by 11 still. That's kind of the funny part of this game, as they've been all up and down this field for the 2nd and 3rd quarter, but still got some work to do.
Yeah, still quite some work. You got to get 2 scores under your belt.
And that time Ace Ketchum just nowhere to go, as he is gang tackled. Zach Benjamin there, and as well as Jay Mart was involved on that, and that brings up an important 3rd and 8. So decision time here for LA.
Yeah, another great pickup from Nashville was Jay Mart, who was Nashville's defensive MVP.
Throwing end zone touchdown, showing the arm off Sully Richardson to Chris Lee. We talked about getting him involved in this game. It's exactly how you do it. The Dax Drone Works touchdown blimp overhead. We'll get a replay of this one.
Yeah, and you could tell that the coverage was still tight, and it just seemed to me that Terrence Pearson just missed out on who he was supposed to cover on the cross routes between two receivers, left Lee enough space to get open, and that was the green light for Sully just to zip that baby like a fastball, get it to his guy, get the score, more life into LA's game.
Yeah, the extra point is good. So back within 4. The magic number has been 11, it seems like, in average plays per drive today. LA that time with 11 plays, able to move down the field in a great rebound from the pick 6 that took place the series prior. So we'll see now. It's Sin City who has been a little bit cold and on, this is their first trip, I believe, out onto the football field for the offense this third quarter.
Yeah, and this is the footfalls that we've talked about, Sin City struggles coming to life. Logan Lee, just 20 yards on 8 carries. Hubba Kimbrell, 18 yards on 5. Robert Johnson, 3 yards on 2 carries. The run game can't going. LA's guessing pass most of the time, and now they're making Scar Patterson pay.
Talababi going in motion. He'll line up on the left side there for Scar Patterson along the line. We'll see what they do on 1st and 10. It is a rollout. Patterson throws back across his body. We've seen that time and time again tonight, but it's worked so successfully. That's Kenny Hendricks coming up with the reception.
Yeah, and Hendricks starting to, open up a little bit more because Dillapre, despite him having 5 receptions for 80 yards and a touchdown, it's been a struggle because he's already been targeted 12 times out of the 21 pass attempts from Scar Patterson. He's had a field day, both good and bad.
Cameron Duty here with Brett Solberg, Eddie Gage, and Joshua Durr in the stats truck. Thank you, gentlemen. And Cameron Irvine at SFL headquarters covering all the action. And we have had plenty of it in this game today as Talon Steele with a stiff arm pushing his way to the first down. I hope we get a chance to look at this again. Yeah, we will. One-handed, too.
Yeah, one-handed scoop catch, easy for Talon Steele. And again, you get him against a defensive back, he's just going to push him away to get those extra yards. And back-to-back first downs means Sin City might have figured something out on this LA defense.
6'7", 263 pounds, is a Talon Steele, just a physical, bruising tight end who you really hate to see running at you at full speed ahead. And we'll see if Sin City was able to figure out something here. Ooh. And it does look that way, coming out with ease. Patterson dropping that one over the head of the LA defenders to Dillapre Sr. and keeps this drive moving.
That's another risky pass, and you'll see this. Look at who's around on that pass too. You've got Monty Wide who tries to get it. You had Anthony Wai who tries to get it. Both of them have interceptions in this game, and he arcs it over one and into the breadbasket of Dillapre.
First and 10, just past midfield, the 45-yard line. Sin City throwing again. Complete to Dillapre, able to shake a tackle, and he gets the first down. And yeah, right now, kind of a head-scratcher for LA is, we have seen Sin City, again, be very dominant here in the passing category. Not much on the ground. So far, though, it's working for him on this drive.
Yeah, and maybe one of the downsides of LA is starting to creep up on them, and I've discussed this for multiple seasons at this point, that LA is just not a second-half team, and those exposures of the defense are starting to show in this third quarter.
Yeah, the holes are beginning to form there as this game goes along. We'll see if they can tighten things up. Just outside the 30-yard line here is Sin City. Patterson rolling out, throwing again, just wide open as Elliott Pope Jr. Again, Patterson able to just drop that one in there with ease. Really an ease, a comfortability that I didn't expect to see after some of the interceptions we've seen early in this game here, Brett.
Just watch this crossing pattern between Elliott Pope Jr. and Talababi. And crossing patterns make it so tough to communicate with defenders, especially when the ball's in the air. Do you stay with your man or do you switch? That's got to be a split-second decision. LA was not ready for it.
Now to the ground game, they go with Logan Lee, trying to get him involved, try to get some good yards. He gets back to the line, maybe one, before he is met by Greg Ward.
Yeah, and almost this run game has kind of been eliminated in the game plan, at least for the second half for Sin City. They're still peppering it in every now and again, but the pass game, Scar Patterson's arm has just been uber accurate on this drive.
Lee, this time, making men miss, gets the first down. For a moment, I thought he was going to see pay dirt, but he does get the first and goal, which is so very important for Sin City. They are in business here, both by ground and by air.
Yeah, one final push from Blackwell to kind of shove him down, but there was an open hole for Lee, and for the first time, when it feels like in a very long time, maybe not since the first Sin City drive in the first quarter, that the hole was open so much.
Jumping over the defenders, and yes, they're able to get it in. Hubba Kimbrell sticking the nose of that football over the marker, and the touchdown for Sin City extends the lead.
Yeah, and that one was, a perfect play call. I've been talking about how Kimbrell's their power guy now. You go with the power option. He jumps over, uses a little bit of his athleticism, and gets to right at the goal line. They count it, and now Sin City has established this 11-point lead back.
Now Franz with the extra point, and it is good. So, a great response by Sin City after being on the bench for the good majority of this third quarter. They go right back down the field. Not only do they take and extend their lead, they also retake the yards, the total yards category there, the battle with that, as we will now see LA with a run back here. This game has had so many different swings of emotion and excitement, for one. Literally, we've talked about it. It was a tale of two quarters in the first half. Now this third quarter, both teams have been able to be successful to an extent. For Los Angeles, Brett, the big difference, of course, that 14-point deficit early on, they still are trying to claw their way back from that.
Yeah, and it's only now 11 points, and some of it can, kind of be blamed with that, this metronome of momentum swings so far. It feels like the odd quarters are Sin City's, and maybe if LA can pick it up in the fourth, the even quarters will be theirs.
So on first down, they keep it on the ground. That is Iniguez, who has nowhere to go. There's Jay Mart once again being disruptive. A gain of one at most as we are nearing the final minute of this third quarter.
Yeah, and if I'm Sin City, I'm looking to find any type of way to rattle Sully Richardson.
Pressure coming, stands in there and delivers, somehow able to get that one away and find the open man. Cutting across the middle was LZ Pryor for the first down.
Yeah, and Richardson did well. It was great pursuit from the defensive linebackers from Sin City to try to get to him. Didn't give him a lot of time to look through his open targets. Just kind of slings this one down the middle, and Pryor finds his way on the catch.
Past the 40-yard line, back up to the 42 now. As LA is Iniguez looking for some open lanes. He's able to get three as he bounces out right side there. And we'll probably see at least one more play here before the end of this third quarter.
And for anyone coming back from the Carolina Queen City game that just ended, 24-0 the final score on that one. You got a relatively decent game here over in Sin City. You should keep an eye on this one.
This thing is over by no stretch of the imagination. Richardson throwing complete. Threw it just a little bit low, but the good thing was there for Bodette, he was in stride with that one, able to pick that up off the knee pads and get the 1st and 10.
Yeah, I think what also helps is sometimes that 6'3" frame could either mean, just a regular dip down, or he's just got the long arms, which is the case for him.
3 quarters in the books. LA trying to claw their way back in as they've been doing in this game. Sin City leads 28-17. This one's not over by a long shot. You're watching the Simulation Football League on the Virtual Football Network. I am Cameron Duty with Brett Solberg, Eddie Gage, and Joshua Durr in the stats truck tonight, and Cameron Irvine back at SFL HQ. We thank you for tagging along with us here, having a good time with you guys in the chat, of course, seeing what's being said. Everybody getting their fours up. We certainly appreciate that. And we'll see what this fourth quarter has in store. Coming out of the gate, here's Darius Iniguez with a good run on first down. A 4.
Yeah, and it looks like LA's establishing run on first and then maybe a pass on second down. So Sin City's got to be ready for a drop back from Richardson.
I formation. one of these teams going to be able to get to 2-3 tonight. As it's Ace Ketchum with the carry. And that brings up a 3rd and 3 situation here. We've seen them go run. We've also seen them, go to the pass out in the flats in this particular situation earlier in this game, Brett.
Yeah, and now it's going to be decision time. You've got an I-Pro formation, Ace. I guess you could say Ace-Pro formation with 2 tight ends.
And they keep it on the ground, and it's not going to be able to be enough. Instead, it's a great play up front for the guys on the line. It's Gary Burney who gets the tackle and the stop. And 4th and 5, and for LA, they're going to have to punt it away and try to pin Sin City deep.
Yeah, my big issue with LA's tight ends is that they're not the best blockers in the league. Grabowski and Flash aren't known for good blocks. They're more known for good catches out of there. So they tried to stretch it to one side. It didn't work out.
John Smith's punt there gets a good bounce. And they'll set up shop at the 20-yard line for Sin City, who with an 11-point lead. Now, they're looking here with the amount of time left in this game. One more touchdown could seal the deal, and they get win number 2 on the season. Patterson rolls out throwing. They're still on his feet. It's Talon Steele who gets the first.
Yeah, and again, it looks like Sin City's going back to, the successes of this game, which has been relatively 2 guys, Al Dillapre Sr. and Talon Steele. And I don't fault them. I don't fault them at all for going that way, because those 2 guys, they've been dynamic on the Sin City offense.
So another first down here for Sin City. As we see Dillapre Sr. going in motion. Keep an eye on him. Absolutely dangerous. We've seen him make some big plays in this one. There's a toss play to the right side, and it's read nicely. Robert Johnson not able to cut the corner thanks to Brogan Spera, who had his first career interception earlier today and a big tackle right there.
Yeah, my main issue with the toss play on 4 wide receiver sets is that those wide receivers need to be ready to block, and it didn't look like on that right side the wide receivers had that strength or the advantage.
Patterson now rolling out. He throws towards the sideline, and he's able to stick that one in there. We've seen that time and time again when it feels like they've got their back against the wall for just a moment. Maybe it's a tackle for loss or it's a sack, but they come right back with the rollout, and there's Dillapre along the sidelines able to make it happen.
And it's just the comfortability that the coaching staff have on Scar Patterson to just shrug that first down off if it doesn't work, go to the pass on second, trust in your guys. That was the success in the Washington game, and it's become the success on this LA game.
For Patterson, this has been a great rebound after the early turnovers, and look at that. He just took that away from the defenders. That's a veteran play by Al Dillapre. Strong hands there, able to snag that one away from what could have been another interception.
And honestly, might be a smaller body than Mike Scott, but he still finds a way to get his hands in front of Scott, get the football, get another first down. This has been the Al Dillapre show in this drive.
It sure has. You expect pass here, and they do. Patterson throwing, and there's the interception. And there's a fumble, and the ball still out, and LA, able to hold on, and we've got a player down, folks. Oh, it's Robert Johnson. That's not what they want to see here.
No, and that's Johnson hasn't been involved in that run game all too often. Just 3 carries for him, but he's still a decent player. He's still a great player out there. Just maybe been relegated to that 3rd running back for at least tonight, and they need him for especially blocking purposes if they're going to keep throwing the ball as Patterson has done.
So let's go back. They get the turnover, which is huge for LA. That keeps them around in this game with 6:47 to go. Back to the ground game they go with Iniguez. And as you mentioned a little bit earlier, Brett, that final score, Queen City 24, Carolina zip. That is final. In this game right here, though, it has been, at one point, it looked like it could go that way. Early on in this one, folks, Sin City was up 14-0, but LA has been fighting to stay alive. We've seen it just again with that interception. And it's 2nd and 6 now. Oh, nice move by Iniguez. A little juke there allows him another yard or two. And a 3rd and 2 coming up. Huge play here.
And now my main question is, at what point in that fourth quarter clock are you going to say to yourself, we have to eliminate the run? You're 6 minutes left, you're down 11. You can't just spam run the ball because it's just going to shut off time on the clock.
Every second gets precious here as we cross over inside of the 5 minutes here. 5 minutes and change to go. They do five for the first, and that spot is going to put them short. I believe that was Ketchum on the carry. It's going to be interesting to see if we do get a challenge.
Yeah,
there it
has to be it has to be a challenge at this point. I thought it was a first down. It looked like his Tukas definitely hit the first down marker. So we'll have to check a replay on this one. A retroactive look brought to you by nobody.
But still retroactive nonetheless. Oh, that's so close. Maybe not that.
Yeah, you have to see where that football lands.
I think he got it.
It looks like he got it. And again, that first down marker is not the guaranteed line. You have to remember, too.
That's true. The ruling is overturned. LA is not charged. Timeout now.
They're going to give him the first down. You can see Sully Richardson, the head coach, Sully Richardson, celebrating on the sidelines. So they're going to get the first down, which is crucial. But at this point, you're still ticking down the clock. 5:36 left to go. You have to think, again, begging the question, when do you stop running?
Yeah, you gotta see this urgency. Toss play left side. Again, Dan Curtis this time, the fullback with the carry. But back to what we're talking about. When they did choose to go no huddle back at the end of the second quarter, it really proved to do them well, the change of tempo.
It did, but that also ended up in a pick six as well, if you remember correctly.
Well, that is true. At one point, you were right about that. Up to that point, now that, in my opinion, it came down to Richardson getting pressured and throwing the wayward pass. But
true, very true.
It did seem to give them a little bit of spark. Now, if they could just rein in the turnovers, you gotta. I'm like you, man. Inside of 5 minutes now.
Yeah, and now you're getting a scenario where you're getting a lot of third downs. LA's kind of picked it up. They're now 6 of 11 on third down.
Richardson with plenty of time. Throws, and that's going to be a flag. I think we're going to see a pass interference called there on Pearson. And you hear the crowd, the reaction. Yeah, number 26, Terrence Pearson gets called for the PI. We'll get a chance to look at it.
Yeah, and I'm going to put my Gerald Smith bald cap on for a second and essentially say, Terrence Pearson, you bailed out LA on that play because everyone was covered well. Sin City called the right defensive play, and he just kind of swarmed on him, and now you've given LA a free first down, and you stop the clock.
And a free timeout there in that. As we see motion to the bottom of your screen, Joseph Bodette. Richardson throwing pressure behind him, but he gets rid of it. He does find Bodette along the middle of the field, close to the 30-yard line. And another injury. It's starting to pile up here late in this one. Oh, and it is Darius Iniguez.
Oh, no. That's not good. If they still want to spread that ball out and kind of change it up, especially now that they're getting closer to the red zone, that's going to hurt because Ace Ketchum, as much as he has grown in terms of talent, he's not the same quality of talent as Iniguez is. So now Ketchum's got to step up.
That is so unfortunate for Los Angeles, who relied on him, but now that's a good carry. That is Dan Curtis, the fullback, getting another opportunity at that one. A gain of 7 on first down. Clock continuing to run here.
Here's something that we haven't discussed yet. Dan Curtis coming into this game, 1 carry, -4 yards. Right now, he's on 3 carries and 13 yards. I say that's a vast improvement.
Yeah, I would have to agree. Ketchum. His numbers called. He gets the first, and you see him kind of shoot out of the gate there with that urgency.
Yeah, you can see the sense of urgency, and now there's a little bit of more weight on his shoulders too. Now that Iniguez is down, so they're going to have to start relying on him if they start relying on the run game this close to the end zone.
Again with a carry, and that is Curtis. Once more, so now, with Iniguez out, they're relying on both Dan Curtis and Ace Ketchum. But again, you know, the clock running down here, 3:43 and counting, 2nd and 6. Ball just inside the 15-yard line. And that's going to bring up a 3rd and 4 here. Brett quickly back to the line they go.
Yeah, they got to go back because we're nearly 3 minutes left in this game.
Richardson rolling out, throwing, end zone, touchdown! He finds his man Grabowski once more for the touchdown.
I was going to say, when are they going to bring that rollout play? Because we saw that on the Chris Lee touchdown that got him open. Now he goes opposite side, finds Grabowski, who has enough space, uses his big body, gets to the end zone, and that is just what the doctor ordered if I'm LA. Get the score before 3 minutes, and now you have an opportunity to stop Sin City, get the ball back, try to take over this game.
Oh, that was a nice play. Good job of Richardson standing in there. And we're going to see an attempt at 2 points here to try to make it a 3-point game.
I like that. I like that decision.
Yes. I as well. Richardson with the handoff, and it's stopped. That was Hunter in on that play. Damian Hunter, the halfback off the bench, they try to utilize him with the Niguez down, and he's stopped.
Yeah, it might have been the wrong decision. I'm surprised they didn't use Ketchum on the run, and now Hunter tries to get involved, and that might be the downfall in this game if Sin City can find a way to get first downs on their drive.
A personal achievement that I'd like to back up and notate in this game for Sully Richardson. Earlier in this game, he reached 200 passing touchdowns on his career. That last one to Grabowski, 201. So congratulations to Sully Richardson.
Yeah, you're talking about game balls. I think that I think Sully needs to get one if LA finds a way to win as well.
Absolutely. And this game, though, folks, still hanging in the balance, a 5-point game at times in this contest. We didn't think that we would see that at all, but here we are. This has turned into a really good game. And you see, it's been a lot closer sometimes than the score has suggested. We'll see what Sin City can do. Can they put this one away? They lead. Patterson, throws just a beautiful dime. I believe we got another injury here on the field. That's Scott going down for LA.
Yeah, and that's going to be tough if Sin City continues to pass that football around. Scott has been mainly the guy that's covered Kenny Hendricks throughout this game. So if they're looking to shift guys around, this could leave one of those top receivers open. I would be not surprised if Elliot Pope Jr. starts to step up in this case.
And what a day for folks like Dillapre. An incredible day. 19 targets. 11 catches. They keep this one on the ground, try to chew some clock down, and it's a gain of 5 by Lee, who has been kind of quiet in this game, obviously. Just not much room to run for these halfbacks.
Yeah, and it's forced, like we've been saying, it's forced Sin City to kind of pass this football to, a hit or miss success rate. But right now, it's definitely hitting their side if they can keep moving this ball forward.
Now, with the carry, that is number 27, James Fenderson, checking in as he pull him off the bench and get him a touch. And this is an important 3rd and 4, obviously, possibly, to this point, the biggest play of the game.
Yeah, Sin City 7-9, but they've been one of their last 3. Can they capitalize, get things back on track?
Here's Patterson rolling out. He's got time, stands in there, and just again, sure-handed, it's Dillapre. And you know that he's going to go there, but there's nothing you can do about it. Just the efficiency and the chemistry between these two.
Again, those soft zone areas that you're going to find open spaces, middle of the field, 15 yards down. Dillapre hit that spot easy, and Patterson just said, I'll throw it to him again for the 19th time.
And that brings us to our 2-minute warning, folks. This one not over yet. Sin City trying to seal the deal, but LA breathing down their necks. You are watching the SFL on the Virtual Football Network. So much action in this one, folks. This one has turned out to be a great contest. Now, Sin City, again, as we said, trying to get out of here with the victory, trying to escape Los Angeles, leaving Los Angeles, if you will. A timeout called for after the carry by LA.
Sin City's in a favorable position right now just because they're deep in enemy territory. They can move this ball if they want, basically through the run, and it looks like it's going to be Fenderson again in the backfield.
This is the 41st first down in this game, folks. Incredible. Now, after that second down play, that brings up a 3rd and 4 situation. And again, Sin City here, though, doing a nice job. You have to wonder, I'm not trying to think too far ahead here, Brett, but the fact is, if they can't convert on this 3rd down, that is pretty comfortable field goal range, obviously, you would think, for Charles Franz.
That's
to
true.
extend the lead.
That's very true.
So you don't want to do too risky here. And they're going to take a loss, though, on a toss play that goes nowhere, and LA does take the timeout. Wow.
That might be best case scenario for LA. Now, this would end up being about a 48-yarder for Franz. So it'll be decision time here.
And they are bringing the field goal unit out. Franz from the left hash mark. The snap, the kick, it's arching. It is good.
Woo.
Man, that looked a little scary coming off the foot there as it veered left, but it did curve back at the last minute. Look at this. Man, able to attack this one on. And that was needed.
Yeah, much needed. Now an 8-point game. LA has to score and convert a 2-point conversion without Darius Iniguez.
And you know what? We talked about the urgency. Yeah, there's no other option at this point for LA.
Yeah, no timeouts either. So they've got to trust in a formation and use the hurry up.
We'll see what Richardson can do. 31-23, a minute 43 left in this one. An incredible game, as we mentioned, over 40 first downs between these two teams. Some of these plays, these passes have been just highlight reel material. That one tipped away, incomplete. A good job of Joshua Durr in there. I tried to give him credit for that INT earlier. He's able to swat that one away. A good job there, Joshua.
I only wanted to give him credit because he's in the stats booth as well, so you can kind of feed into that ego a little bit more. I know he doesn't have an ego at all. He's one of the most humble guys I've met.
That's for sure. Love having him around, and Eddie Gage as well in the stats truck. Now, that throw. Yeah, just not the right place and time to be missing footballs like that. Chris Lee just needed to snag that one, even if it wasn't the best thrown football.
Yeah, and that's your cash cow right now, and Chris Lee, who's got all these yardages through the first 4 games. He has been shut down completely. 2 catches, 17 yards. Yes, he's got the touchdown, but he's behind pace.
3rd and 10, a minute 36 left in this one. Obviously 4 down territory here if they need it. Oh, and look at this. It's Bodette racing down the sidelines, and he steps out past the 30.
Man, this momentum was just saying LA was not going to get anywhere, and they were just going to turn over this ball on downs. And then they throw something like that at you, where Bodette, who has been hot in this second half, gets a catch and run, brings it enemy territory in field goal range, but they're looking for blood.
They need a touchdown and a 2-point conversion, but now they see the light if they can make it happen. It's tipped. J. Mart in the vicinity, trying to track that one down after he swatted it. The big man can't get to it, and it's 2nd and 10.
Yeah, looking for Bubba Tree, who's only had 1 target in this game, and man, that's an interesting time to get Bubba Tree involved. He's been relatively cold aside from the special teams unit.
For Richardson and company, wow, what would that mean to be able to drive down this field here? They got to make it happen. There's Bodette again. Drops it in there, gets close. They're going to say inches. Just short, 3rd and inches here. Richardson rolling out, throwing, completes it. That's to the fullback, Dan Curtis.
Yeah, that's a good safety valve throw, too.
Richardson to throw, slings it. incomplete, intended for Bubba Tree.
Yeah, that one well covered by Evan Lacey, and that one, you know, could have gone Tree's way because you have to remember, Bubba Tree is basically a tight end in a wide receiver spot. He's a big body, and I like the idea, make him like a red zone threat, but your money has to go to Grabowski at this point.
Possibly a case for some extracurricular activity there for the PI, but it's not called. Instead, here throwing out to the flat for Tree. Sully Richardson, he's able to complete, gets out of bounds, and a 3rd and 6 situation here.
And now
Everybody's on their feet.
LA's in that sweet spot right now where we've seen the 2 touchdown throws from Richardson already in this game. So I'd be looking at Lee, I'd be looking at Grabowski, and Beaudet's been hot in this drive.
What can Richardson do? The offensive line got to pick up all those defenders, give him time to look. Richardson throwing, corner of the end zone, touchdown! Oh my goodness. Chris Lee, he is able to make up for that big drop early in this drive with this touchdown.
And it was the same play that got Chris Lee the first touchdown, that crossing route with Grabowski that confused the defense and left Lee open again. Sin City got burned on the same play twice, and now the 2-point attempt.
For all the marbles here, folks. They go handoff, not able to do it. They went with Hunter, number 24, coming off the bench again, Damian Hunter. Now, folks, this is important to mention before this onside kick. Anigua is out, trying to find something to work for him, and it didn't. The onside kick, contested, but right into the hands of Fenderson. And Sin City going to come away with this one, my friend.
Boy, that was a close one. Fenderson almost right into the hands from 127 to another 27. Just imagine if LA would have gotten that ball. Jesus Mary.
A fraction of a second sooner, this could have been a different story. And you know what? Somebody's got to lose in a game like this, and that's tough because these two teams, man, they played their heart out. And for Sin...
Go ahead.
No, go right ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Well, for Sin City, obviously, congratulations to that fact. You know, big in the division. Talked about how this jumped them up, but I'll let you take that from there, Brett.
Yeah, simply put, LA, this was the biggest, the best fight that I've seen them. I think this was the most complete football that I've seen out of LA in a loss this season because I've been harking at them. Their second half has been atrocious for seasons on end. This second half in this game against Sin City, they stepped up when they needed to, when they were down. And you know what killed them? It was the injury to Darius Iniguez because they probably use him in that goal line setup. They don't have Kimbrel or even not Kimbrel. They don't have Ketchum or Thicky or even Curtis on that spot, and they failed 2-point conversions. You make that, you win by 2.
In a game that come down to the very end, like we said, they were able to claw their way back in at being Los Angeles, but Sin City got the 14-point jump early on. That helps make the difference. How about game balls? Brett, who do you want to give one out to? I got to imagine Chris Lee's in on that too.
Well, Chris Lee has got to be in there for, the later part, but I got to give, on LA's side, Joseph Beaudet stepped up in that second half, and although he didn't get a score on his end, he's got to be credited for the game that he had. On the other side, man, there's a lot I could go through. I would say share that game ball between Evan Lacey and Al Dillapre Sr.
It's been incredible, folks. We thank you for being along for the ride. For Joshua Durr and Eddie Gage and my buddy Brett Solberg, I'm Cameron Duty. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again for more SFL action later on this weekend. Take care. Have a good night.